Hey everyone, your designers are here.
I'm Anita at Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly at My Soulful Home.
We have tips and tricks and decorating advice for you today. So let's get started.
This is episode 127, Creative Ways to Set Your Table.
Love that table.
I'm really excited to get into this because there are some things, just general rules and regulations about table setting that I know we're going to talk about, and then we're probably going to break those rules and stretch them. And so it's going to be a really interesting episode, I think. And maybe not everybody knows exactly where everything's supposed to go, and they're feeling a little unsure about it. So we'll set that straight, and then we'll tell you how you can break the rules.
It's creative ways.
Yeah, very creative.
I feel like mentioning something before we get going because I got to see Kelly this week. In fact, we spent quite a bit of time together.
Yeah, I was going to say see is really probably, just a euphemism for what happened.
Yeah.
You spent an inordinate amount of time with me.
That's
and
right.
It was awesome.
It was
so much fun.
Fabulous. I mean, the only thing that could have made it better was having Yvonne with us, but she was busy. I know.
Well, somebody has to hold down the fort, the podcasting fort, the blogging fort,
That's right.
All of that, putting up Christmas trees and all that stuff. So Anita and I got to head to Texas. Well, she was already there, but she had to drive to a clearly different spot in Texas and 4 or 5 hours away from where she lives. And I jumped on a plane and we met, and we were brought there by the people that do the Texas Flip and Move.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to help set up the house, and they brought us in as stylists and designers, and it was a blast.
It was absolutely a blast helping them get that house ready for the auction. So it was a quick turnaround. We worked on it for 3 days, and we were just moving quickly. We had a lot to do in a short amount of time, and Kelly and I got to know each other really, really well.
I got to meet Nita Jean's mom and her Aunt Gloria.
That's right. Or as family calls her, Aunt Glordine.
Yeah, Glordine. She offered up her house, which was not too far away, her little weekend house on the lake. And, we didn't get to spend too much time lounging by the lake. Actually, none. But it was so nice to be in a cozy little house at night after we worked so hard all day.
But I mean, we left, in the dark in the morning. We got home after dark. I mean, they were long days. We were exhausted. But
we took that house from, like just this side of almost demolished to actually a really beautiful house in really a day when you think about it, because we couldn't get in there for a couple of days. They were still working on it. So it really needed a lot of help. And it was really fun to put our creative minds together and work with Anita. There was one thing that I was laughing, though. We had this one little flower arrangement that I had just thrown together. We didn't have a lot of choices with our florals. And it was so funny because I would put it on one side of the kitchen and then I'd go back and it'd be on the other side of the kitchen.
I know. And then someone else moved it. It wasn't just me moving things. Other people were moving things.
It was so funny. But I think I just laughed to myself. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's so funny. And by the end of the day, I was like, let's just get it done. But our creativity really meshed and we just jammed. So you guys will be able to see it in like January, something like that?
Well, we don't know, but we'll let you know as soon as we find out. But it was interesting because there were certain concepts, and that's why I really wish Yvonne had been there too, because there were so many things we say on the podcast that I could just hear in my head while we were working. Limited color palette. We really worked to have kind of a cohesive look throughout the entire house. So it's the same color palette, all of the rooms. And that was fun. And then, although I think I like my artwork a little bit lower than Kelly does.
Well, because I'm so tall, so I really.
Well, I don't know why you were wanting it up so high. I'm like, I felt like saying, but haven't you listened to the podcast? You're not supposed to put it up that high.
We're going to have another podcast about that. But
anyway,
it was super fun. And we definitely mixed, let's just say we mixed highs, sort of, with lows to make it look really good.
That's an interesting combination. Size, highs sort of, and lows.
Well, it's a very tight budget on those houses. And it was the second time I've been there, so I had some experience before. But there was a bust of a woman. It was like a group, kind of bust. Mm-hmm. And we called it Yvonne, and we carried it around with us. We took a picture of ourselves with Yvonne and all the pillows.
We picked it out the first day. When we are not allowed to show you pictures yet, but when we can show you pictures, we'll show you. Yvonne, we had her surrounded by all our pillows.
Yes, I haven't even seen them yet.
No. But you ended up in the dining room. I think you'll be quite pleased with where we put you.
Yes.
Let's go back.
Reigning court there, holding court.
Let's go to the dining room. What do you think, girls?
Okay. Yes, I think we're ready for the dining room. So I thought it'd be fun today to talk about kind of some unique things, but about what we like to do with our table. And I think you can break some rules. For example, no placemats on top of the tablecloths, but sometimes we might have done something like that in the house. I'm not going to say, but that's certainly something that you could do to break a rule.
I'm trying to think what rule that I actually stick to.
Well, let me jump in here with the rules just in case.
Okay.
Somebody's not
Go
aware
ahead, teacher.
or they have a question in their mind. Okay, so in your very basic setting, you're going to have your plate, and then you're going to have your forks on the left and your knives and spoons on the right. And you're going to have them in the order of usage. So from the outside, so say the salad would be the furthest fork away, right? And the spoon would be to the far right of the knife. That's just the way that's set up. And then if you had a bread and butter, little smaller plate and maybe a butter knife or something, that would be on the left. So if you were dining with other people, you would go to the left for yours. And then the glassware is going to be sort of upwards from the knife on the right-hand side. And if you have more than a water glass and you're going to have some wine or champagne, they would sort of form a triangle right near the water glass. And Emily Poe says that you would have the napkin to the left of the fork or on the plate, not under the fork. That was kind of interesting to me because I have always been brought up with the napkin was under the forks.
Well, that's the way I was brought up too. And then I was kind of a shock to the system when I became an adult to realize that napkin goes to the left. But typically I tend to put the napkin more often because, I want a beautiful napkin or a napkin ring. I like to put it on the center of the plate. I think it adds so much. So if you have something beautiful, I prefer on the plate. I'm glad to hear that she's mentioning the plate. But the other thing is to put it in your wine glass. I think that's a beautiful way to play around with the napkin as well.
And
like
so far, there's only one rule that I continually don't break.
And
what's that?
Having the plate in front in like versus
what?
The rest, I know, but the rest of them, I mean, like I'm all over the map.
Well, I don't know if you, I mean, and if you look at the palace,
and maybe the glass,
the queen, they've got the rulers out. I mean, the plate is exactly so many inches from the edge of the table. I mean, I don't.
Oh well, Mr. Carson would just be all. He would just be baffled
from
by
Downton
what
Abbey
today.
I would need more staff for that, girls.
Exactly. Isn't that the truth? So let's talk about some things that you might want to do that would be kind of a creative thing to do with the table. Is there anything that you like to do that's unique, Kelly?
Well, sometimes I like to bundle the utensils together and tie them with a little twine or a ribbon or something like that. And that can sit on top of, so you have the plate and then you could put the napkin and then you could have the utensils sort of bundled together. I know, Anita, you had mentioned those little tiny Christmas stockings that you could tuck the utensils inside of. And I think that's so charming too. So making more of the plate the focus. And, maybe that works when you have more people too, because then you have taking up less real estate on either side and it's a little bit more compact and you could fit more people on. So that might be actually a good idea for the holidays as practical purposes as well. So you have more room on the table for other things like, side dishes and whatnot.
Right.
And
I was going to say, to add to what you're saying, I was just thinking about, as you were saying that, the chargers, and something that I do instead of using chargers is I got rather large plates. I really think they're platters, and I use those for my chargers, and they're cream colored plates. So it's really anything you put on them looks great. And it's such a nice base and adds so much heft to the table setting. I really think that's a great thing to do if you have that option.
It's nice when it's also, a ceramic or porcelain type of plate, because it serves a decorative purpose too, particularly if you're going to take the time to set the table a day or so earlier and you just want it to look pretty. Right? You wouldn't just put a charger out, like a rattan one or a gold one or a brass one or something. You would put a plate on top of it. But if your plate is oversized and it's acting like a charger as well, you can just leave that out and it looks like a real table setting already.
Mm-hmm. There's 3 areas on a table that I like to get creative. In other words, other than that, you can use your everyday. But I like to get a little creative with a centerpiece, like down the center of the table. I like to get creative on top of a stack of dishes, and then also with a napkin and napkin ring. And that frees you up a lot. And I always say, buy a set of white dishes, or have enough mix and match white dishes that you have basically what we know as a set, because a lot of white dishes look beautiful if you mix them and match them. But a centerpiece, I think you can get so creative for so little money. There's so many. The sky is the limit on those things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you, look outside your door, because just even grasses or flowers you have in your garden or sticks and brambles that you have actually look beautiful. And what my favorite thing to do on a table is I have little square, they're actually square vases. They're like a heavy glass, like cubes almost. And if you run them down the center of your table, and you could fill them with different things, and then you have a spot for, of course, I love candles on a table. So that's really easy and creative, and you can change that seasonally. And I mean, I'm just thinking put Christmas balls in them, or the fall, put like paper filler and stick a pumpkin on top of them. And the
Great
other
idea.
thing is, the top of a stack of dishes. If you have a set of white dishes, I love to buy, I look for dessert plates, even smaller than that, small little dishes in different colors and themes that literally change an ordinary white place setting or whatever you have into something either seasonal or festive, or like a holiday, whether it be Thanksgiving, 4th of July, just by buying sets of different little size dessert plates. And they really are inexpensive. My favorite 2 places for those, Pier 1 and Home Goods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Yvonne, would you just decorate the table with those as the setting, or would you actually use them?
No, I would put them on top. Oh, you mean where are they in my house?
No. So you're setting the table, and I'm guessing you have your regular white plate, and then are you putting this decorative plate that's
on top of that?
On top, and then are you using that to put food on, or then do you take that away?
Well, if it's a salad plate, sure. If it's a little smaller than that, maybe I just put a little dessert or a little something on it later. Okay. But I'm not one that holds to how many dishes you have at a place setting you use. Mm-hmm. I'm very free with breaking the tablescaping rules.
Okay. Right. But when you take up your dinner plate, you take up your charger too, right?
I take everything off the table.
Right. I mean, for the next course, you mean?
I take everything off the table. I don't eat with the charger.
Oh, okay. But I mean, yeah. We're using them so we're using them. You don't use those when you're actually serving a meal then?
No, because I think they're so big, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I have, we call them my berry plates, and I get asked about them all the time. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to find them for the past several years, and they're oversized. And I just think your meal gets lost on them.
So you would just a stepping, taking this one step at a time. You set the table, which has the charger. And do you just, and then maybe you put a decorative plate on top of
No,
that?
she's saying she doesn't use the chargers when she sets the table.
I do, but we don't eat on them. Like
Oh,
an
no, you're not supposed to eat on
oversized
them.
plate. Okay.
No. You would eat on a plate on top.
It depends.
No, but I'm just saying if you're going then to a second course, you would just pick up the charger with the plate is what I'm saying.
Okay, wait a second. Let's be clear here. So you've got the charger, Yvonne.
Yes.
Okay. And then you're going to put the white plate.
Right.
And then you're going to put a decorative plate. Now,
Yes.
now the food's coming out. Your holiday brisket is now making its way into the dining room.
Well, before
have
it
you
does
cleared everything?
I have cleared everything.
And then you bring back a plate with food on it.
There's two options.
Okay.
You could use some of the dishes if you're going to have a buffet.
Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold at the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months.
I like the idea of a buffet unless it is a very formal dinner, because I think people like to pick and choose what they want on their plate.
Okay.
Oh,
and yeah. I do have the space for it. And I am like, not even at Thanksgiving or anything do I serve dinner on my table. It's either I plate it and take it, which is not often, or I serve it buffet style. And I like sort of that casual, I like that little bit of casualness. And then those plates can appear again at the buffet station.
Okay, so you would take the charger and the plate away.
Always.
Invite the people to the buffet, and maybe you've stacked up the dinner plates there.
Exactly.
And they use those. Okay.
Now, although I like to, if I serve a salad, maybe those plates, those little decorative plates, let's say they're red with a stripe around them, which I have. They can be used for Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, summer, and Christmas. That's why I like them.
Right.
Because they give a nod to whatever the seasonal color is. but they're not so specific that you could only like use them at Christmas or if they have stars.
They're
like
not
the 4th of July.
spode or such, right?
Well, speaking of color, one of the things I like to do to add color to the table is to use Moroccan tea glasses. They're just so peppy and fun. I love them for the holidays. I love them for other events. And it just seems like they
I don't know what that is. Those are?
They're little, I mean, I use them as votive holders, but they're short little glasses. They tend to be very decorative. They're bright colors, maybe like pink or blue or red, maybe a cobalt blue, but they also have gold decorative stuff on. It looks very Moroccan.
Are they like a shot glass size?
Yes. Well,
I know exactly what they are.
There you go. There you go. Yes.
Well, now if you called them a shot glass,
yeah, well,
I didn't know that
I'm
they were
sorry.
called Moroccan.
I was calling them the wrong thing.
I didn't recognize them when they were tea glasses, but
so
now
you
that
can use those.
mentioned
But I
shots.
love those sort of things. You can put the candles in them. But you know, there's so many colors. You could use the pink for Valentine's Day, the red for Christmas. I mean, there's just so many colors. And then you know, you can use them year round. But they're not only good for the little candles, but you could put flowers in them. And another special little thing I love to do for guests is for everybody to have their own individual vase of flowers on their plate. And so you could use a little Moroccan tea
Ding
glasses.
your bell. I love that. That was going to be the thing I was going to say. Absolutely. I love that.
And so you would put that on top of the napkin then?
Or
Well,
just
I probably
up by the water glass. Or the
I
other
would,
side.
I could either put it there. I like putting it on the plate, and then I would just have the napkin to the left.
Oh, fun.
Okay. Well, let me say, while we're talking about the holidays, we're weaving holidays in and out of this conversation. We kind of can't wait for the holidays, right? I mean, I'm chomping at the bit to get my Christmas tree up. I know, shame on me. Mine is not up yet, but you have yours up, probably several.
Idea of the little flowers around the table, maybe just spread out around or on each person's plate when the meal starts. And then, like I said, you can use the Moroccan tea glasses. You could also use little liqueur glasses. There's some gorgeous little vintage ones. Usually they're little stemmed, but they'd be cute with a little, very small little flowers in there. And it certainly doesn't take many flowers. Usually you can just snip something from your garden to put in there.
Sweet. Like little sherry glasses or something.
Yeah.
And you can pick those up for nothing at thrift stores.
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. So, or the little mini white creamers, they look like ironstone, but you can get the little small ones, just a couple inches tall. I think those would be cute, filled with flowers.
And they're also really nice if you are serving coffee or tea.
Oh, to put real cream in them.
Yes, and used individually. They're so precious.
Oh yeah. So people don't have to say, can you pass that?
That's right.
That's a great
And I'm
idea.
going to mention those yogurt containers again. I think I talked about them in one episode a while back, but those glass yogurt containers, I've seen them again, and they are the perfect mini vase
What
size.
brand?
You know, the brand that I got, they don't have anymore. And off the top of my head, I cannot remember the brand of this because I have like about 40 of them. So I'm not buying them anymore. But
Okay.
there's a couple of different brands out there. It's kind of a, they're not that expensive, but it's kind of more of a unique yogurt flavor. Like they might have ginger and apricot or something like that. So look for that. And even if you're not a giant yogurt fan, you know, you could just maybe put the yogurt in a recipe or something like that. Or, you know, sorry to say, dump it down because they're less expensive than trying to go out and buy little vases somewhere. And the glasses are perfectly sized for what Anita is talking about.
Oh, okay. Well, another thing that I wanted to throw out before, I'm trying to run everything in here.
What are you
Make sure I get
racing?
it.
We got plenty of time. Where are you
well,
going?
I know, but I don't always get a chance to talk.
Oh, okay.
I
I'm
didn't
gonna be
want to
quiet
say
now.
that. Because I know you all have lots of ideas you want to throw out there. But the other thing that's kind of fun, I love using a fish set. They're vintage. They have the
Yes,
white,
I know just what you're talking about.
So they're actually, they have the kind of the ivory handles. So these are almost always vintage. The knives, obviously it's a fish set. They were meant for the fish course when people had a fish course. And so the knives are not really for cutting steak, for example. So You can't use a fish set if you've got something if you really have to use that knife for much. But if you if you don't have something really tough to cut with a knife, I think it's so fun to have the fish set out because they're just so beautiful. And usually there's silver plate with the, like I said, with the ivory.
Can I ask
handle.
a question?
Mm-hmm.
Other than perhaps the telltale ivory handle, how do you know it's a fish set? Are they more slender? There's something.
Well, look at the knife. It's not going to it looks like the knife just looks like it's just for cutting butter, basically.
Okay.
So that's how you tell. They're decorative. There's a lot of detail, kind of curly cues on them. But really that ivory handle is what really gives you the clue.
Okay.
That they're,
Right.
that
Good
they're
to know. Because
a
if
fish
somebody
set.
finds them in, a thrift store or something, then, it'll help them identify what they've got.
Yeah. And usually it's that, really it's kind of the old timey, the first version of plastic, really.
Uh-huh. Okay.
They're not usually actually real ivory. But, and then the other thing I love to use is silver from Europe, a European silverware that I've gotten on eBay. I have a lot of silverware from France, but the beautiful thing about the French silverware, and you'll notice that the forks and the spoons are huge. It looks like you're going to be eating your soup with a serving spoon. So they are oversized, but I love the look of them. And the fun thing about using them is you put your fork and spoon, if you're American, what you think of as upside down, because the design on the forks and the spoons is on the back, what we consider the back.
I love that.
So is
I
that
love
a
that look,
European
too.
way to set the table?
Yes.
Upside down?
Mm-hmm.
I've got something that anybody can do. You don't have to be looking for European. If you have a cup and a saucer, I have the cutest way to fold a napkin, and I'll explain it to you, but we'll also put it in the show notes. And you would take your napkin. I'm just going to say we have a hot pink napkin, and you're going to take the long ends and you're going to hold on to the diagonal ends and twist it so it twists up into like a big long cigar. You know what I mean? A big long rope.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to take it and wrap the rope around your middle finger, just twisting, and you can make a rose out of it.
Oh.
And
very interesting.
Okay, we'll wait. Everyone go grab a napkin and come back.
And you make this big sort of rose that you can put in a teacup. And if I do it in the summer, I just use a couple rose leaves in it. But it is so much fun.
That's so cute. So you put real rose leaves? Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And here's the really fun part. Anybody could do this. You don't have to iron your napkins because when you unfold them, they are a little wrinkled.
Oh,
so you just go
that.
with it. I know. And so if you don't want to iron your napkin, just make all these roses.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fun.
And you could even put them on the center of your plate as well.
Oh, what great. Yeah, I can't wait to see the pictures of these.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is, you don't have to use a traditional tablecloth to start with. We've talked about this before, but I love to use homespun linen sheets that were made, 100, 200, 300 years ago. Mm-hmm. And the weird thing about them is they were made on these homemade looms. So the looms weren't very wide. So they typically have a seam right down the center. So if you bought a tablecloth that was made now, there's no way there would be a seam in the center. So when you see that seam in the center, that's what tells you that piece is really old.
Oh, good
I have a
tip.
couple
I
of
always
those.
like to know. Oh,
Right.
wow.
So the old homespun sheets are great. They don't have to be tablecloths. The other thing that I like to use, if there's kind of a special pattern that I want, a lot of times I'll buy 2 yards of fabric and then just sew the edges, or you fold it up or under and use that stitch, Stitch Witch or something?
Witchery. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah,
Stitch witchery.
So you just iron it on, and then it kind of holds your seam in place.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
the
really a good
fabric
idea.
remnants are a great thing to use for tablecloths. And then of course we've said drop cloth too. You can use.
That's true. I have another idea for a napkin. I collect bandanas. Just you can get them now. You can actually get them at your bigger craft stores, and I collect them like for the summer in red, white, and blue. And I just keep they're so inexpensive, a whole stack of those on hand. And so when we eat outside, you just got instant napkins.
That's so cute.
They're
And
perfect
instant
for
charm.
napkins.
I use the bandanas too. And I think I mentioned to you when I did kind of a French theme outdoor party, I bought bandanas in a toile pattern. A
I've
blue and
never
white toile.
heard of that.
Well, I know, but I found them. Well, apparently no one else, everyone thought they were weird.
For the French cowboys.
Yes, maybe. So, I mean, nobody but then one bought them. So they were like marked down discounted. So I was like, I'll
love
take
No
that.
cowboy is going to I don't think any of the dudes we saw in Texas
no
are ever going to wear a
self-respecting
toile
cowboy.
bandana. Yeah.
No self-respecting Texan guy's going to buy them. So I got them all for a song. And so I think I'm like, I'll take all of them.
Yeah,
They were marked
right.
down. But also, you know, I think we've talked about you can use, well, especially if you're having a barbecue or something, ribs, if you're going to be serving something really messy, you might want to have something larger than a traditional sized napkin. So you might want a hand towel. Or if you're using the old kind of napkins, they tended to be really large. So some of the older ones, antique ones, are very large. But the other thing I wanted to mention is because I know my mother-in-law, you know, she really felt like if you were serving a dinner, a nice dinner, you had to have a linen white tablecloth and linen napkins. So I love linen napkins, but you know, if it's not formal, I don't think you can use cotton, and you know, you can use one piece larger for your lap and then maybe a smaller one, you know, for dabbing your dainty mouth or, you know, whatever. So anyway, so that's another option.
Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health, potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free, that's right, a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order.
And I'm going to piggyback off of that, Anita. Don't be afraid to use double napkins in your tablescape because I think that's a beautiful look, like a floral with a check or something. So
do you see them twisted together in the napkin ring? How do you display them on the table?
Actually, I like to put those in like a stemmed water glass.
Yeah.
So you put the smaller one in the water glass and the larger one on the plate?
I like them both in, like, you know, you just lay one on top of the other and pick the whole thing up by the center, turn it upside down and plop it into your glass.
I like that.
Oh,
and then have all
that sounds nice.
fabric. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. Let me talk to you about another thing to put down your table. And people forget about this. It's so, so easy. Just if you have like a breadboard, put it down your table and run apples down it or lemons with lemon leaves, something that easy with little votives.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great idea.
That's all you need. It's just beautiful.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That sounds wonderful. I mean, just something simple, natural. We've talked about just some flowers from the grocery store. I mean, should see when we were on the set what Kelly did this week, and there weren't a lot of choices at that grocery store. But she made some movie magic with those.
Little choice of selection of flowers that we had. But yeah, we did a good job with those.
Did you use baby's breath?
Oh,
no, they didn't even have, no, they didn't have
they
that.
didn't have that.
But everything
yeah, a little sad.
Yeah, well, some of I think they just weren't selling. So most of the flowers were kind of droopy, but then they had a fresh box in there and we were just like grabbing everything out of the box.
Yeah. The girl in the floral department was a little overtaken by us because we were in a rush.
I know. I feel bad for you.
Would you ever put a napkin? I'm thinking when you were saying the oversized ones, what do you think about laying it over the back of your chair? I mean, I understand that that's also like an indication to a waiter that, you'll be coming back and you can just put it over your chair.
Over the chair? I wouldn't.
Yeah. Did you ever do that? Lean it over the back of the chair? If it's like a tea towel size one or something like that, just to add
I feel like I'd be thrown out of the restaurant.
Oh,
putting it over the back of the chair? I don't know.
I think I would keep my things that belong on the table on the table.
On the table. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would love to see it done beautifully over the back of a chair. I'd love to see what that looks like.
Well, but I was just thinking, the back of the chair, I think you can do some things if it's just kind of a nice fun event, maybe with a bow or something, but I don't think I'd put my napkin back there.
Okay. I'm just thinking about ways to bring a little more color around.
But that's certain. Well, you get an A for effort there, Kelly.
Well, thank you. I mean, you don't have to like every idea I have, I mean.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
I'm okay with it. I'm not going to be upset or anything.
Yeah, she sounds really over it.
I think it's time to go. Who's closing this?
Yeah, because that's right. Because yesterday I was like, after we were getting punchy, I'm like, how about this? And then she'd go, how about this? And I'd be like,
oh, when we were decorating?
Did you take your dinghy
Was
bell?
that only yesterday? Oh my God.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
No, it was the day before yesterday.
It was the day before that we were, kind of getting cranky. And
goodness.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting cranky.
Oh.
Anyway, I think we had a great time today and some creative ideas came out at the end there. But
yeah.
I think this is so exciting to have the holidays upon us and we can use these ideas. We hope that we inspired you today to add some flourishes to your table that you might not have thought of. And if you weren't quite sure, or you hesitated as to where that fork was supposed to go, now you know for sure. And we'll put lots of the things that we talked about today in the show notes. So remember, we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time. Hey, everybody. We want to thank you so much for listening to Decorating Tips and Tricks. And we want to make it even easier for you to listen. And it's easier if you subscribe. You just click the subscribe button on our website, www.decoratingtipsandtricks.com, or you can subscribe through Apple Podcast or any of your favorite podcast listeners. When you subscribe, DTT comes free right to you 3 days a week. So until next time.